You didn't drink yesterday, Jordan?
I had a couple pops, like late though. I couldn't lie.
I mean,
no, I went I made it to like 7:00 at night, and I had such anxiety, and I was so fucking depressed from all the shit that's going on right now. I'm like, I won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't drink.
Yeah,
man, I was working last night, and I was like just scrolling through Twitter. I was like, I gotta stop. I'm just getting anxiety for everything that's going on.
Oh my God, was it 2 nights ago? I was hanging out with Dan and Cassandra. They had like a fire, so it's like you can sit distance away from each other and whatever. And then Dan's all of a sudden like, holy shit. He's like, fucking Boston's like burning down. And I'm like, what? And then it just like, at that point, he's like, oh, I'm going to start putting the fire out. I'm like, I want to go home and watch the news. And
yep.
It's crazy.
I was off all weekend. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going back to on Monday.
You guys weren't hit or anything like that, Dan?
Something's not the hot spot of
right
issues.
Right.
People, the fucking melting pot of all the yuppies that live there now, or the old Southie that will fucking be part of the problem. So
yeah, there's a lot of old money in Southie too. You don't know whose building you're burning down. You might want to be careful.
So the funny part is I wasn't paying attention. We've been recording the whole time, so I don't know where Fish is going to start this. So welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. This is Andy from Inebriart, and I am joined today by Jordan Chabot of the Speedwell Tavern.
Dude.
And Dan Mahoney of Stats in South Boston, which you just heard.
What up?
So today we're going to keep it positive, and we're going to talk about how we have been using quarantine time to improve the businesses, what people have been doing kind of in a positive way to prep, like I said, again, I'm not sure where Fish is going to start this, but, not just the things that you're doing to prep for the new, I'm sorry, guys, for the new normal.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I know. I just didn't know what else to say.
New World Order.
I know. I feel
New World Order. Yes.
I feel dirty.
No, not phases. We can't use that either. I was thinking of it more in like a Marvel way, but no, because that's actually what the word they're fucking using.
That's why I took it. Yeah. Like, this works for movies. Let's do this for real life too.
Stage
like the
one.
New World. Let's say the New World Order.
Yeah. NWO.
Sweet.
I was listening to the Provincetown radio station just the other night. Was it? I don't know. I think it was last night. All the nights blend together now, and it was like I can't tell if they were stirring the pot or paying tribute, but it was like Public Enemy, NWA. And I'm like, this is cool, but I don't know if, Fuck the Police is the song I'd pick to play today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation because.
But we're not going to touch on that today.
Yeah, we're not going to. That's probably a good idea.
Let's forget
that.
That's
a different podcast.
So, yeah. So, Jordan. I know you've been taking this time. I know Carl's been taking a lot of time doing things to improve the restaurants. Is this I'm checking off the list of the things that I didn't have time to do before, or is this I'm bored as fuck and I'm going to do things?
Oh. Yeah, so there are always things when you come into the restaurant. We were open before all this. We were open 11:30 till 1 a.m. every single day. So the only time you can get things done is when you forcefully closed or overnight, and nobody wants to paint a building 3 a.m. So I got a kid too, and I got to get home to him. And so yeah, I'd walk in here every day, and it was just hurry up, got to get the specials out, got to get the kitchen ready to go, got to advertise, got to do this, got to get the bar ready, and those things got to wait. They'll wait. And, then you sit in the building. We close every day, and you sit in the building for like a week and look around. You're like, it sucks, but now I have no excuse. Might as well
you can't squash that now.
Yeah.
That
right, because I love painting.
Andy's drawings in your bathroom.
Yeah, no excuse. So might as well use the time positively. When we can't have people in here, might as well paint the walls. We're going to redo the floor and, all the little odds and ends. Just a good deep cleaning so this place is not only brand new when people come back, but it's safe,
But that's one of those things when, like you said, you come in and it's like, okay, what's on special? So-and-so called out. I got to, see what I can do, blah, blah, blah. But it's that list of, what do they call them for, the home with the honeydew list?
Honeydew list, yeah, the maintenance list, yeah.
But it's like that's a stuff that when you let it slide can really make a place go from like a cool place to looking shabby pretty quick.
No knock on my last name, I hope. But
You
could do because see, here's the thing, and most restaurant managers and owners I think know this. You can do enough to make a place feel like it's not falling apart. It's a one Mickey Mouse job after another, one Band-Aid after another. Like, and that's what we do. You prioritize. So like, today I'm gonna clean the ice machine because I have to clean the ice machine today. Like, when I'm closed, I'm like, I should, I can clean the ice machine. I don't have an excuse to do that. But like when you're super busy, like you were saying, like, and you have all this other just regular managerial stuff to deal with, you wait until it becomes a big enough issue where it's getting in the way of your operation, and then you tackle it. Where now when you're closed, you are like, shit, I can't afford to lose any time or money when I'm open again. So let's get all this shit done now. Mm-hmm. So when we are actually open, I'm not losing money to an ice machine breaking down or a refrigerator or, my customer feels uncomfortable because paint's peeling off my walls, So
because Andy keeps drawing on it. It's not your fault, it's his. So.
It's such a dick move, man. If you want to hang up some artwork here, just tell me.
Yeah.
I got plenty of open walls now. I took a bunch of shit out.
I like how you refer to someone drawing on your wall as a dick move. It's like a double entendre.
I know. Half of them are dicks. There's some pretty good ones, like rocket ships and stuff. Like dick rockets.
Yeah. The human rocket ships.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So
SpaceX.
What are some of the hacks that you guys have found? I know at the BBC there were some stool issues.
Man, my life was
they reupholstered them with stickers. So like what are some of the on the fly hacks that you guys have managed to pull off over the years to kind of
I've fixed every single thing in the British Beer Company with beer stickers. Like I got to stick at all the bar stools that reupholstered, not because I thought it looked cool, and it did look cool, but it's because I asked for new seat covers and never got them. I'm like, well, they're all ripped, so I'm just going to make my own seat covers. Someone smashed the men's room window, and I haven't been in there since I stopped working there, so it could still be smashed, but I legit fixed it with insulation and beer stickers. Like, not like, it's funny because I was talking to our Mayflower rep. I was like, do you have any can labels? And he gave me like, it's either him or Sarah, both friends of the show, Jeff Nordo. They gave me like a roll of like old can labels that they don't use anymore. So it made it almost like a stained glass window with beer labels.
Oh, that's cool.
It's because I had to, because the window, those bathrooms are so old, they're not insulated. Mm-hmm. So you have a broken window in the wintertime. You can't even walk in there. The pipes might freeze, all that. So I'm like, I made my own window. And as I said, it could still be like that. I wouldn't be surprised.
I haven't been in there, but I don't recall it being fixed when I was in there after you left. So maybe they thought you did that good of a job. You should start a side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Dan Mahoney's beer sticker redecorating company.
I only have one good one that comes to mind, but we have these accordion windows over here to my right. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is going to be audio. No one's going to be able to see what I just did. But we got these accordion windows that open to, like, the public. You can, so it feels like you're eating outside and you're alongside of the restaurant. But they get pretty beat up. The building shifted since they were installed, so they're really hard to open and close. So some point late winter, like, one of the windows just freaking lost all of its hardware, and I don't know if it fell off one day because of wear and tear, but and then it got swept or something, but I couldn't find it outside, and the window wouldn't shut. So we opened it to like let air in on a nicer day because we had a really mild winter, and we couldn't fucking shut the window. So in a panic, this is gonna be wicked random, but I bought a giant hoop shot from former employee Natalie, who's I don't know if she's been on the show, but we should get her on sometime. She's awesome. But Natalie Chakrak, she was selling a giant hoop shot. So for no reason, I bought that.
A giant what?
Hoop shot, like the arcade game where you
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So my brother and I saw her doing that on Facebook. We bought this hoop shot and just never put it together. It's fucking stuck down in the basement at Speedwell. That was my brother's genius idea. But I'm like panicked. So I ran down there and grabbed like hardware from the hoop shot and was able to fucking shut the window using the hardware, take it apart from that hoop shot. There was there happened to be like a perfect size screw from it. I just felt like MacGyver, dude. It was awesome. Like, give me an avocado, a snorkel. I made bongs with less.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing like going to like the hardware store. I'm like, all right, I gotta fix something. Don't know how. Let me just go walk up and down every aisle until I get a couple ideas.
Right.
And you walk out with a one bag of shit, and maybe it'll work.
I super glued the thermostat dial to my fryolator when it broke off, and it's still there.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the right temperature when we turn it on. I don't know, but it's still there.
Oh, you fix some leaking pipes, duct tape and all that. Like, I've done.
We had a guy come take a look at it, and he's like, don't touch it. Just leave it there. It looks fine to me.
I fixed, like, we had, like, a good streak where, like, pipes would just crack. And they would always crack on, like, a Friday night, Saturday night, or something like that. I'm like, well, I can't get anyone in here to fix this, so I'll duct tape it. So,
hell yeah.
The mini pipes down in the basement of that building were duct taped back then.
Yeah.
So
when I was a kid, my we had a cracked pipe in my house, and my father fixed it with some sort of adhesive and the grip from a golf club.
It's awesome.
When they sold the house, it was still there. Like, it just never ever leaked.
Well, hopefully it was a clean water pipe and not like a fucking sewage pipe.
No, it was like incoming.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. So what other projects have you? Well, Dan, have you been doing anything? Like, stats?
The time our like bar area needed to be retiled, and it's one of those things that had to sit for pretty much almost 24 hours undisturbed to do it. So, I mean, that's the bright spot. And this is our bar room floor looks awesome right now. The building next to us used to be like a CVS or something like that, and they tore it down to build condos. So we lost like a side window. It will open up into look at us up in the middle of the building. So we had to brick that up, hung a new TV and stuff. So right before we closed, we redid paint's not the right word, because like it's almost like a car wrap, like this whole mural on our walls that's no one's seen yet because it was only up for 2 days and then we had to close. So we've got a lot of a facelift inside the building. So it's a bright spot, but it's all, I mean, that's the said. It's all stuff that you would had to close for, or like maybe we get someone in to come do it on like Christmas Eve or something like that. And no one wants to do that. Like Jordan said.
Yeah. And then you're probably paying
more. And
yeah. So like paint's been done and all that. So walk into a brand new shiny building for a day.
People want to see, man. And honestly, like people are going to be a little on edge coming back out. I mean, not everybody, but some people are, and rightfully so. I mean, you want everything to be clean and sanitized, and just seeing a fresh coat of paint on the walls it's that little tipping points like that are going to go a long way.
Yep.
When we are prepared to open back up to the public.
So what else is on the to-do list?
I got to get my right. Yeah, bringing back the staff. No, I got to get my floor redone. I was saying that to Annie before we started recording, but the floor here is just like, it looks like a pirate ship, and that's kind of cool because the place is called Speedwell. Like, it's fine, it's all uneven, it's real divey, but the patina is perfect to give it that kind of worked in feel. But now there's no finish on it, and it gets wet, and it smells, and that's a 2-day, 3-day project. You got to let it cure.
Yep.
So that's next up, and I got to get that done soon because it looks like hopefully by the end of the month people will be walking in here again. So I got to get on that like now. Like maybe I should call right now while we're on the podcast, and you guys can see how a quote is.
See how angry Jordan gets.
Yeah. I'm a pushover. I'm like, yeah, whatever you think it costs.
I was gonna say I can message him.
No, I'll message him.
Doing a lot of these big projects, though, is a lot of those people weren't working during like the heart of it all. So it's like you want to get something not major done because you couldn't get a permit for anything, but like if you wanted to get like a guy to come in and do your floor or something. You probably couldn't because they're laid off too. So that was a
You
little
can
bit
go that way.
but
Yeah,
you know,
that's
people, you can get friends to do it. So
What have I'm going to use the C word, guys. What COVID improvements have you done?
I just installed. We've always had an issue when we get super busy in the summer that this restaurant gets excruciatingly hot. We installed before we opened 2 giant HVAC systems, but unfortunately didn't take into account that the open kitchen, the open windows, the amount of people that bring heat to the building. So on those real hot, humid days in the summer, we've always had issues. We lose a lot of business. So we installed 2 AC units, 2 mini splits, and they purify the air. They kill viruses, they kill bacteria, and they'll supplement the HVAC units that we already have in. And hopefully we'll make sure we market the shit out of that.
hell yeah, those things would be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see them right behind me. It's like the one you guys had installed at BBC when you were there. But it's a newer technology that just came out where I don't know how it does it through filtration. Or I think it's through UV, but it kills anything living in the air and throws clean air back into the dining room. And also, I mean, with Massachusetts has a great energy rebates to going green incentives. So we're going to get a huge rebate on both of these just because they're so energy efficient. And I'm sure there might be some COVID rebates coming down the pike. That'd be pretty smart because you might be seeing more restaurants and businesses installing things like this. But yeah, it's called Panasonic NoX. It's brand friggin' new. I highly recommend it. Pretty badass.
And a lot of the most recent things I'm hearing is it's got so much to do with air circulation. Like outside, you're pretty much okay. Right. So something like that's huge. And you got the windows. So, you kind of got the advantage over, not throwing shade at BBC, but BBC is this little tiny, what is 25% capacity of BBC? 1.5 people. I mean, it's just a small place. I mean, I think I would feel more comfortable going in some place that has that. Oh, the windows are open, so the fresh air is coming in, and that kind of thing.
Well, exactly. They said we have big picture windows at Stats, so that's huge. I mean, we have them open all year round anyway, and we also have a couple like what Jordan just put in. So I mean, that's pretty much one of the biggest things they're showing is like airflow, and that's why like the whole outdoor seating thing's coming first.
Yeah,
because it's not that like you can't be. You're gonna see these places like there's a place in South Boston that like part of their restaurant is like this basement club. And like they're not opening. That's gonna be like a COVID hot box. Right. Like, so you're lucky if you have windows that open. I mean, you're always lucky if you have windows that open. So I think that draws people in either way. But so that's definitely gonna give you a leg up in the long run now.
I just saw a meme the other day touching on your basement nightclub thing though, and they were saying there was no COVID-19 in the early 2000s because they'd do those foam parties and everybody would be sanitized while dancing. You know what I'm saying? So like if these nightclubs open back up, instead of doing like generic dish soap foam, if they did like foaming sanitizer and everybody just kind of
my god,
dude, think about it though. It's
but then you'd have like some guy that's like decides to smoke a cigarette in the bathroom with the station nightclub fire all over again.
Touche. We take the fun out of everything.
Sorry, man. Safety first. No, but the funny part was I kind of looked up and Jordan was just taking a pull off a giant mug, and I'm like, oh, he's drinking water. I can't speak for Dan, but is this the first bar talk where we're all 100% sober?
I think we had like 2 of the early morning ones where I think I just drank coffee. But
yeah, but I think the rest of us were drinking.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I think.
I remember the first Mayflower one we did with Jeff. I was on a sober month.
Yeah. Drinking tea.
I was drinking tea, dude. That was tough.
Especially the Mayflower. They're like, yeah, man, just go get a beer.
Sitting in a brewery, like the brewery was closed. Like we were just kind of like grabbing whatever we wanted, and like it was mad late on a Monday night. And yeah, they were just like all you guys were crushing beers, and I was like, oh, was that the episode? No, yeah, that was with Jeff and
That was the one where we were
Jeff
playing.
and Dan. Yes, before
Yeah, yeah.
Dan was actually on the show. Right, right.
Dan's first appearance. So
That's right.
make sure you buy that podcast and keep it in mint condition, because when they make the Dan Mahoney movie, that thing's
I'm gonna get
go.
it printed on vinyl and autograph it for you guys. I'm just gonna write a note that says you're welcome.
Well, so
that was a really good podcast.
Since we're talking about COVID prep, I was talking to Jordan about this yesterday. I have nothing to do, so I'm bored out of my mind. And so we're working on merch, and I think Bar Talk is going to be making up some face masks with Bar Talk logos on it. And nice. I think we're going to use it to kind of like spread the Bar Talk gospel, and maybe put together a little care package.
You got to be careful with the word spread, all right?
Safety first, Andy.
Yeah, all right. I'll put some hand sanitizer in there. I'll talk to Pepper. Put some hand sanitizer. But to kind of get some restaurants that maybe don't know about us to kind of stop in, say hello, drop off the package with that'd be actually a good idea if we could get little hand sanitizers from Pepe and little care package and
I love it.
And
maybe even get it to some of the guests we've had on that work at restaurants, and maybe so then when people ask them what is Bar Talk, they've actually been on the show and they can explain it too.
Oh yeah.
Or we should send them out to the guy that sent us hate mail, and then if we still have fans from Tennessee and California,
I'll tell you right now, if that hate mail guy sends us his address, I will make sure he gets one, as well as our fans. Yes. But the hate mail guy's getting it first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm not going to do anything to it. I mean, I respect you.
Have we got any more hate mail?
No. You haven't shit all over anybody.
I know.
But so as far as the merch goes, the other thing that I was looking at was Bar Talk bottle openers. The kind that bartenders use, and it's like I got to kind of like really deep dive into it because I want the Bar Talk logo on it. But I want to see if I can get on the backside, maybe like certified mixologist or,
Yes.
Dude, I think
diploma of mixology or something like that.
Oh, dude. The thing that worries me is like half the people aren't going to get the joke and they're going to like act like it's a real fucking thing. Like,
yeah, but it's funny because it'll be on a bottle opener.
Should get him a stethoscope.
Mixologist thing there is, right? A stethoscope.
Fucking stethoscope that says certified mixologist.
Yeah.
I want to get some Punxsutawney Phil Day shirts too. I mean, that's
Punxsutawney Phil Day. Yeah, that
has to happen.
All right. Yep.
Like a fucking groundhog wearing a sundress with like.
Didn't I draw that picture for you?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen that. Hey, how about this? Any of our listeners who know what Punxsutawney filling is, we'll have Dan recap this because we're in Punxsutawney filling season. We're at the tail end of it right now. We kind of had a delayed Punxsutawney filling season because of the COVID-19, so we still haven't experienced it yet.
And it was also pretty shitty out in April.
Yes.
Phil Day
fucking 30 days of night, dude. Yeah. But yeah, any of our listeners want to, especially if you're artistically talented, maybe we got some inebriate carryovers. If you can draw us a logo for Punxsutawney filling, be amazing. Dan, re-explain the concept because it's amazing.
Punxsutawney Phil Day is when you get that first like really nice day after like a cold winter where like everyone just comes stumbling out of the woodworks, where it's like everyone's a disaster. You have like the crazy homeless people coming out, like running around yelling at people. It's just like everyone broke free from their winter cold streak on that first nice day. And it's always, you can look at the weather app and this is probably only a cool weather area. So it probably doesn't happen in Florida, California and all that stuff. But like you can look at your calendar and be like, oh, Friday's going to be 80 degrees or not even. I think it's like 65 or 70 degrees.
Yeah. It's usually
like, all right, get an extra door guy on there. Tell your staff that ABCC is coming to town because it's going to just batten down the hatches because it's going to be such a disaster.
Hurricane Ashley.
Yeah.
It comes every year, Hurricane Ashley.
You're gonna have all the Beckys and coming out, falling over themselves, crying at the tables, like all the Brads and Chads, all that. It's all coming out, man.
I can't wait.
It's every year. You can always just see it's after like that. It's usually like March, early April. Sometimes it always falls around St. Patrick's Day too, and it's you just know if you're working that day, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, 2 years ago, it happened on St. Patrick's Day. It was like when a tsunami hits an earthquake, dude. It was like, it was. I remember. I'll never forget that day. That was. Oh my God.
Yeah, we actually ran an event at New World Tavern that night, and we were doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So we had this theater group coming in, and they had like all sorts of stuff, and they're like, oh, well, we need to unload. I'm like, there's a loading zone right there. Dude, it was such a mess. Like, I went and threw someone out of the loading zone, and like as the second they pulled out, someone else pulled. Like, I couldn't keep the loading zone empty, and it was bedlam, and the guy was pissed. And I'm like, dude, yes, we get busy, but this is Punxsutawney Phil Day. I can't explain to you that it's just today. It's just bad luck, It was insane.
Probably at least 50% of the ridiculous stories I have from working behind a bar are from a Punxsutawney Phil Day. Like, the guy that would change 4 times, Punxsutawney Phil Day.
Yeah.
It's like the Catalina wine mixer, but around here we go. It's the fucking Punxsutawney Phil Day.
Yeah, exactly. Send us fan art. That'd be cool at BarTalkCast. BarTalkCast at gmail.com. That would be a cool t-shirt. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we will send our hate mail and fans who have written into us face masks if they send us their address. You can just slide into our DMs. Is that how they say it, Dan?
I think you can say it.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys want to address a couple questions?
Sure.
And maybe Jordan will get us some cameos.
They're all busy. Kids are working.
They're all busy. What is this, the New World Tavern? All right. This one is from Nina Stebbins. Jesus, first one out of the.
Wow, dude!
I'll never let you down, Dan.
Never change.
I'll never let you down, Dan. It says, "Are you having a hard time getting beer? I've never had so many issues here." So, are you having any supply chain with? I feel it's tough for us because we have 4 breweries in town. Like, if you can't get beer in this town, that's
so. I'll speak in a broader stroke, Andy, because the world doesn't revolve around Plymouth. And
no, I'm pretty sure it does.
In Boston, I know for a little bit, the distributors weren't dropping stuff off. And at that point, though, we weren't going through tons of stuff. Like, we flirted with the idea of bringing in a bunch of new craft cans to sell for takeout. And we're glad we didn't, because it wasn't like the crazy madness that we hoped it'd be. Now they'll drop it off to you, but they literally drop it off at your doorstep, and you carry in. So we do like giant drops of Bud Light bottles, like over 500 cases, and that's going to suck when we have to carry it in. And I don't think that's going away. I think that's going to be a thing. Is like now when we open up for reals, you're going to have to bring your own liquor order away. It'll be like BBC all over again when they just leave my kegs out in the street. So.
So
I haven't been ordering beer. We haven't been taking advantage of being able to sell beer and wine because we got Tatum right next door at the craft beer cellar. But I'm hearing, because they just started picking up all our old beer and they're giving us credits on it, which is huge. All the stuff that went out of code, as they say. But when they're doing that, they're saying, keep in mind that as we ease back into doing full service, we're going to have limitations on what we carry. You're not going to be able to get specialty kegs anymore. Breweries aren't producing it. They're canning everything. They're not kegging anything, and their tap rooms aren't open either. They have no need to keg beer right now. So I don't have any package really besides the domestics. So I'm going to have a hard time getting some kegs, but that's okay. I'll throw on 12 or 6 Mayflower lines, 6 Second Wind lines. I don't care.
Exactly. they'll be said. It's I think in the beginning it's going to be crazy because everyone's like, I need beer now, but like it will be. It's going to be interesting to see like what you get. Like we don't do tons of the specialty stuff, so. But like I know even like Sam Adams isn't releasing kegs of Stamp Summer, which is ridiculous because usually that comes out in February.
That's a mind blow. That surprises me, honestly. Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Like you can get bottles and stuff of it, but you can't. They're not doing any kegs right now.
So you'll be getting kegs of Oktoberfest when you open up at the end of the month because Oktoberfest comes out in fucking July every year now.
You're gonna have Sam Adams do June-toberfest.
But I mean, it makes sense from their point. Like I didn't really think about it, but yeah, why make kegs? Because
no, for sure. Like I know I'm a couple people that work or own breweries, and in the beginning or in the middle of this, they were dumping kegs because they can't sell them. Like no one's buying kegs for restaurants and stuff. Like
I was down at Devil's Purse, and they have like a little takeout window. I know Mayflower's kind of doing the same thing. So it's cans are where
just selling package.
Yeah,
just selling bottles and cans and growlers. Growlers are always good too, so they do have that. But I mean, you see, like Mayflower Brewery in the last 4 years is completely transformed because of their tap room, because what they did to that space.
Yeah.
The amount of money they put in it, and now it created a cool vibe, and then they got food trucks, and they got music, and it just changed the whole culture of that place, and that got taken away from them. That kind of sucks. Because now they're back to doing what they were doing old school 10 years ago, like, hopefully it'll all end soon, but, hey, it's, we all got to adapt, and it's good to see shit's not getting wasted, like you're seeing Dirty Water Distillery, who you just brought up earlier when you're talking about the masks, taking all this old beer, or the beer that people can't sell and turn it into hand sanitizer, this is what we do, baby.
You've seen a lot
adapt and overcome.
Doing. What do you think the battle is when we open up for people trying to get your draft lines?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
When are you going to start taking those meetings?
I'm going to be loyal to the people who were loyal to me during all this. Kenny from Second Wind, who we've had on the show a couple times, was the first person to reach out to me 2 days after this went down and said, I'm buying my kegs back from you. You don't have to sit on those. He came in, he picked them up. Him, Widowmaker Brewery, a bunch of the South Shore breweries got together and all chipped in and did a fundraiser where they basically raised a bunch of money through selling a beer they all brewed together. And then they used that money to buy gift cards from struggling restaurants. And we were one of those restaurants they did that. So people that did that kind of thing, Second Wind being number one, those are the ones I'm going to support.
No, it makes sense because they supported you when you needed it, so why wouldn't you do that for them?
Right. The breweries that I'm getting from other states and stuff like that who make great beer, and I've had a great relationship, I'm sure they're focusing on their own territories right now, but I got to focus on my neighbors, man. I got to take care of Second Wind. I got to take care of Mayflower just like they've taken care of me.
Yep. It'll be funny to see what the macros that happens to them because I mean some of them started fundraisers and stuff, and you couldn't see my air quotations over the radio, but who knows where that went to and everything like that. So, but
it was an ad campaign. It wasn't a fundraiser, and that's the thing you're seeing. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. Every time I hear that, I fucking cringe, dude. Like, no, we're all in different boats. We're dealing with the same ocean, but we're all in different boats. Your boat's a lot nicer than mine. That's for sure.
You got many boats on your boat.
So, I know the beer cellar, I've been working there a little over a year, and I used to dread the inevitable, at least happened, I think, once a shift where someone come in and be like, do you have any heady topper? Do you have any heady topper?
Now you can get it.
And now you can get it. Do you think that's going to carry over?
I was asking Tatum about that when she was first telling me she was getting it, and like no one knows. Like I don't know if like that's the thing, like because I don't think a lot of people are going up to Vermont, or they weren't at least. And that's their whole business.
Listeners who don't know, Heady Topper is like this holy grail IPA that you can only get at the brewery, and now they're distributing.
Yeah, they were only up at the brewery in Vermont, but now like you can find it at stores and stuff. Like did restaurants and getting in stuff too. I know a couple in town have gotten it, so. I don't know. Like I'm intrigued to see what stuff like that. Just like now, like they don't need your money anymore. People can go up there like, never mind. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's this Heady Alchemist Brewing. That's who makes Heady Topper. They are the godfather of the hazy New England style IPA, sure. And no one could ever take that away from them. It's a solid beer, but they're only doing that because they can't sell it to the bars they were selling it to in Vermont. So
Right.
because they're not open. So now it's like, oh, you know what, guys, we do want to be friends and distribute it down to you.
Yeah.
But once this all, I mean, they did just build like a giant new facility too.
Oh, it's definitely self-preservation that they're doing.
But it's self-preservation, and I don't know. I mean, I don't see. It's one of those beers. It's just hyped because it's controlled obsolescence. There's thousands of other beers that are just as good, if not better, that are brewed 10 minutes away from here. So
everyone's definitely caught up to them. So it's not like I don't need to go drive 6 hours to get it. Like,
right.
Anyone awesome, I appreciate it, but I'm not going out of my way to get it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, same thing. That's what happened with Lawson's. You're starting to see that with Lawson's now. Like, we were able to get a Sip of Sunshine, which is another highly touted and delicious beer that's brewed up in Vermont. But people were breaking into cars for that beer a couple of years ago. Now it's like
it's the
now
Beanie
it's
Baby
like no
effect.
one cares. I have a half barrel of it downstairs just sitting there that I got to get picked up because it's out of code. It's getting picked up on Friday, but no one cares anymore. It's all about the new cool thing. So. Yep. I don't know. I'm curious, though. I'm curious to see how that happens, too, because that got to catch 'em all Pokemon mentality with the got to drink 'em all beers. Like, you got to have something new every day. What if you can't get something new every day? You know, like, people are going to go back to just having that one beer they're loyal to, like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. That was mine for freaking 10 years. You know what I mean? Are people going to go back to that? That'd be kind of cool to see.
That's going to be like breweries are going to come out like with the safety beers, or they're going to come out swinging, and I'm intrigued to kind of see what that's going to look like. Yeah,
that's a good point. It could go either way. They got to make their money, and I guess it does cost more money for these breweries to brew these big IPAs, these experimental beers that they don't know how they're going to land. Do they play it safe and brew the things they know that, maybe are 4.5% to 6% ABV that people consume more of, or do they do what you just said? It's going to be interesting. Swing for the fences, do like a fuck COVID beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
13% triple IPA.
That's like
right. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch because I know everyone's going to come out of this and celebrate. And I just want to. Is there going to be caution thrown to the wind, or are people going to just be inspired and say fuck it and let's celebrate? We just dealt with 4 fucking months of being isolated.
Yep.
All right. This is from Tracy Towery. It says, "Help! We lose power around my area a lot. There are a lot of big trees, and every storm that rolls through brings them down. What do y'all do as a power supply backup that's affordable for a small business? I currently have a generator, but if I have to use it, that means I have to stay/sleep at my store because someone will steal it."
That's a weird predicament, man. Like, I would say, generator was going to be my answer, but what kind of generator are you using?
Yeah,
using like one that,
like, it didn't say. I'm assuming just kind of a
little one.
Yeah, little gas powered.
I thought you needed one to power a restaurant or a bar or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I don't
you got
really
the space for it. It's a smart investment if you're losing that much business to your power outages, and you got the space for it. Get a fucking legit generator. Have it installed and mounted to the side of your building, and you'll make that money back in a year if it's happening that often. Or buy it, or better yet, buy a chainsaw and cut down all the trees around your restaurant.
I was waiting for you to get your own generator, water pumps, and dig out a well after.
But my only issue is I have nowhere to put them, and like the town will never let me mount it to the side of the building because God forbid there weren't generators in the 1620s and everything has to stay historically correct. But yeah, I got similar issues. We just closed, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
you guys were having horror show water issues.
Dude, that was that whole neighborhood.
It wasn't unique to just us, but it sure felt like it.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys? I meant you guys is downtown Plymouth. I mean,
right?
They were shutting down all of Main Street like once a week for like 3 weeks straight, and it always seemed to be like on a busy day.
Friday night. Yeah, it was never on a Monday.
Well, that was a unique situation.
You can tell just by Jordan's face, you can tell he's still salty about it.
Hurts.
Like, yeah,
no, I'm wicked fucking salty. Well, the thing is, like, I don't know where to shift my hostility on that because, like, and I never got answers and I never got any like explanation. But basically, what I heard was the town of Plymouth didn't have good enough like blueprint, like infrastructure maps for where the pipes were underneath the fucking street. So they hired this, private excavating company, and they're basically digging with blindfolds. And I was like, just stop digging and figure it out first. Like, Jesus Christ, send somebody down there with a fucking flashlight.
It's like, is the pipe here? Yep.
Oh my God. Maybe before you start digging, you fix your blueprints. Like, and it happened 3 times in like a month. It was.
I never thought I'd see a downtown Plymouth water geyser, and I saw 3 of them.
Like, it was wild. Yeah, it was wild.
My favorite part about that.
Oh, my sink stopped working today. That's cool.
You ever see the movie Volcano, where like the fucking Tommy Lee Jones movie, where somehow this old dude stops a giant volcano in the town of LA? But I just remember that scene where like all the sewage is boiling because the lava's underneath it, and all the manholes like pop up in this water geysers in the city. Yep. That's what Plymouth looked like for like a month.
I wish we had a volcano. That'd at least be a cool story to tell people.
One of the worst cringeworthy quotes is in that movie. It's the kids are kind of like sitting around while the fucking city is burning, and Tommy Lee Jones's kids, and they play paper, rock, scissors, and the kid goes like whoosh with his hands, and the girl goes, "What was that?" And he goes, "Lava. Nothing beats lava." And then the daughter comes over and she goes, "Yeah, my dad beats lava." I'm like, oh. Come on, dude. Like, Tommy Lee Jones is just like this retired fireman. And he's like, it's like the most cringeworthy quote of all time. What beats lava? My dad.
My favorite thing about that whole incident is it was October, and I was at a inebriart event all day, and Jim Casey was having his annual Halloween party. So I'm like, I don't want to show up not in a costume, but like I'm coming from an inebriart event. So I stopped at the dollar store and I made some purchases. So I got caution tape and I was wearing it kind of like X-wise across my torso. And I safety pinned some soccer cones to my shoulders. And the first person I ran into was Tatum. And she's like, "Oh my God, are you Main Street?" And I pulled out a squirt gun and shot her. And I'd go, "Yes, I am."
That is unbelievable. Tell me you won.
I don't think it was a contest, but Tatum's like, "That's my favorite one I've seen."
That is unbelievable. I didn't even know, dude. That's unbelievable. Good for you. Kudos.
I'll send you a picture of it. I'm sure I still have one.
That is genius.
Let's see. This one is from Billy Tilson. Looking for suggestions on best online ordering platform. Not looking for Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash type. Just looking to add online ordering capabilities. We're saying we don't have a website. Best options for that also. Wow, dude. First of all, get with the modern age.
Yeah. Carrier pigeon? Like, what do you okay, I don't understand.
Smoke signals? I don't understand how you would have an online ordering option without a website.
Yeah. You got to add a website. You have to. I think Squarespace is the most basic because it's not only Squarespace, it has the platform for building a website in general, just a bare bones website. But it also has a platform.
Just,
what is it?
They're not our sponsor.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not.
They can be.
Yeah, but if you're interested, Square. But they also have Square. So there's Squarespace, and then there's Square, which is for iOS, and you can get an iPad and just hook it up together, and you're done. It's super easy. I mean, I'm sure this. But if you're basically saying you want to do online ordering, but you don't want to do anything that does online ordering, then you need to invent something, then, dude.
Yeah. It sounds like he wants his own app, which is like, then write your own app. As far as I know, there's not a generic app that you can go and insert your logo and make the Jimmy Smoke Shop.
You gotta have it linked to your website. So, like, how are they looking at your menu?
Why are you making it more complicated than it has to be? Dude, just get a website and fucking call somebody. I don't know. And now, I really want hate mail. I don't know if you guys can tell, but
I'm kind of surprised that someone would start a business and not go through. I don't even say the trouble. It's not that difficult to set up a website.
I thought now when you open a business, that's one of the requirements. You get your health and safety inspection, your liquor license, and your website license.
Right.
Because
maybe he's an Amish person. I don't know. And on the line, he means like down the cattle line. I don't know how he's going to listen to this podcast, so we're probably...
right. You're listening to a podcast. You don't have a fucking website. I can hit the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right. Draw a dick in there.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's an excellent. I didn't even think of that. It's like you're fucking emailing us, guy.
Yeah. How do you not have?
How do you have email and not a
website? Like, how
First
does
of all,
people
Carl has a website.
I mean, that blows my mind as it is. Like,
Yeah.
If you didn't say that, I would have said this is Carl emailing us to ask because he's too scared to ask us on the podcast. It's funny. It's like we're looking at like one of the new requirements for like opening back up. There's gonna be a thing where you can have your bill texted to you and you pay by phone, so you don't give us your card or anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how it works yet. Like they just told me about it yesterday. It's getting installed next week, but it's like instead of getting your credit card number, your card, just get your phone number. Then this whole company is hooked up to our POS, texts you the bill, and then you pay it just like if you were doing like on one of those like screens of the garden or something like that. So maybe that guy needs that too.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is going to make us, I don't want to say more dependent, but using our cell phones even more, just if we're going to be paying with our phone, it's going to become like, you're going to get those, people.
Well, so now, I don't know if you've heard
that are stuck out of time with a flip phone, and then be like, well, we'll text you a bill, and he'd be like, I can't get text.
Ryan Reed's not going to be able to go anywhere. Have you heard this? When you have someone come in to get a table from you, one person in the group has to give you a phone number so you can keep track of them?
Yeah. Yeah, they want you to log parties because if for some reason you have an employee you find out a couple days later that had COVID, might have been working that day, something like that, they want you to contact those people and let them know. Which I guess makes sense. I mean, I'm just going to do it where we have a system where if you want to log into our Wi-Fi, you have to give us your email address. So I'm just going to try to set it up on that so I'm not sitting here doing handwritten and all that. Just like, hey, come in, somebody from your party, just log into our Wi-Fi, just give us your email address. I might be able to do some sort of notation down the bottom because a lot of people's emails don't match their names. So at least I can say, hey, like write your name and the date you came in. So that's going to be weird, man.
Yep.
Feels like an invasion of privacy, but I think if it's all for the greater good and you just explain to people, like I'll put a little message on a special sheet or whatever, like, hey, this is kind of what we got to do for now. And it's for everyone's safety. So,
well,
if everyone's doing it, like there's no choice. Like if you don't want to do it, then you can't come to eating.
It's literally one of the most important things is tracking the contact tracing to figure out who's around, a breakout. Because say like 15 people, I don't want to say in Jordan's place, but 15 people at the Driftwood. See, they don't exist, so I can say there. Come down with it, and then you're like, well, shit, who else is there? And you have no way of notifying them. Back in the day, they used to put it in like the newspaper, but who the hell reads newspapers now?
Exactly.
Right.
So,
right. That's the way to do it. And then those people know they gotta be careful. You can't, you gotta stay home now. You gotta put yourself in quarantine because you were exposed to somebody, and
right.
That's the only way we're gonna squash this thing.
And
in worst case, if you don't want to give out your number, you just give out Andy's like I do. So
yeah, sure.
That's true. You can do that.
That explains that Missouri phone call I got earlier. But I mean, from a and to me, that's kind of the when it's honor system, it's less effective because people are just going to make up email addresses.
You're gonna have that jerk. It's like I don't want people to know my number. Blah,
yeah. No one wants to know your number guy either.
We're not doing this because we want to be friends. Trust me. I mean, I have the phone numbers of all my friends. We're doing this because we don't want you getting people sick.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest advantage of reopening for the restaurant. Like if you're going to do it via email, which I think people are going to find less invasive than if you're asking them for their phone number. Which is weird because no one uses the phone anymore. Who the hell,
Right.
I never answer my phone.
Leave me a voicemail. Maybe I'll check.
Yeah. I won't check the voicemail. I'll be like, oh, Dan called, and I'll just call you back and be like, what?
Yep. No, you won't call me back. You text me like, what do you need?
Yeah, exactly. I had someone call me the other day, and I'm like, what's up? And they're like, oh, nothing. I was just saying hi. I'm like, you call when something's wrong.
Yes, that's the only time.
Yeah.
Emergencies only.
But if you're collecting email addresses, I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's information, data that, I mean, people pay for. And I'm not saying you should resell them. You should never resell someone's email address. But, you know, these are people who are coming to your restaurants and, you know, you know their customers. You now have their email address. Now you can send them, you know, being like, hey, here's our new menu. Here's our specials this week or whatever.
Right. Might have to, I don't think there'll ever be any legal bullshit with this, but if you're requiring people to share their email addresses, at least one person per table, you might have to have that like checkbox option that a lot of places do when you buy something from a store where it says,
like, do not,
please send me updates or don't send me updates.
Yeah.
Just so people know that they're giving out their email and we are saying it's for this. And if you don't want it to be for anything else, then it doesn't have to be for anything else.
I mean, that's easy enough. You could just put a box on the end, be like, please add me to your email list. And even if you get 10% people that check yes, it's, you know, that's
right.
Right.
Right. I think a lot of people, especially like the local places in town, want that. They want to get notified when a restaurant has something new or something like that, especially coming out of this, you know?
And if you do stuff like that, don't blow up their email, you know? No more than once a week, I would say. I feel like once a week is even a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I unsubscribe anytime I get more than freaking one a day. I mean, if I get 3 a week, I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I have 2 emails. I have one that I read and one that just gets junk mail. That's how I sign up for everyone's Wi-Fi.
This is from Lindsay Trausch. It says, where did you find a good employee handbook? I've seen templates online, but wanted to ask options first. Is there a Speedwell employee handbook?
You're looking at it. I did write a handbook back at my previous job, and you can go as detailed and as deep as you want, and it just becomes more and more convoluted and just sort of, I don't know. I would say for HR purposes, you just download a bare bones restaurant one. You can access a lot of the chain restaurants, and it's just good to have, I guess, for that. But our handbook is show up and don't be an asshole.
That's it. I had to read the handbook just to go in there. Yeah, I mean, the handbook, 90%, 99% of the people you give that to aren't reading it. I've never read an employee handbook. It's really just liability for you. So put whatever you want in there, make sure they sign it, and then when you want to fire them for something stupid, make sure it's in there. So that's all. That's really what a handbook's for.
Right.
I've really kind of always felt that way, that the handbook is more to deal with people who are you never said I couldn't bring fireworks to work.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Or to be like, we need to get rid of this guy. What's in the handbook? I feel like that has been, you know, my absolute experiences with such things. But the company I work for,
handbook right now for inebriate.
Yes, don't be a dick.
Don't be an asshole. Yeah, don't be a dick.
But the company I work for, or am furloughed from now, is they actually required you to read through the handbook. Like your first day, the first thing they do, you sit in this room and you read cover to cover the handbook. It's like after about 6 pages, you're flipping through, being like, "How long do I sit here? That seems like a reasonable amount of time that I actually read."
I remember
there's no test.
A car that I was getting rid of, like I was selling, and I found 3 different jobs handbooks in there, and I was like, I didn't even know I worked at 3 different jobs.
So, all right, this is from Tiffany Nutter. Who else thinks making your drinks at home taste different than when you go to a bar? I've got a few ideas as to why. Curious on what you think.
I would say
first
probably making them stronger at home.
Okay, I was going to say, do you think it's true, first of all?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. You make them stronger at home. It depends what you're drinking, but sometimes when you go to bars, there's juice and soda on the gun. Fountain's going to always taste different from when you're pouring from a bottle. Yep. Pretty sure you don't have a fountain set up at your house. If you do, it's pretty rad. But yeah, and then, it's just, mixes, stuff like that. Bars use different products that you can't get at the stores and stuff. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
I
think the gun's the whole big thing about it, because even this like soda water from the gun's different than soda level, the bottle and all that. So, like you said, the same ingredients you're not going to get at the stores, you're going to get at home.
I mean, it could even be something as simple as, you know, if you have an ice machine that has a water filter and this person's using straight tap water, that can change the taste.
Honestly,
significantly.
the ice cube shape is the huge thing too. Like, I don't have like ice machines in a restaurant. They're smaller cubes, like from what you're going to make at home. I should get a bag of ice. Like, I've made so many drinks. I'm like, I just put so much booze in this drink for my stuff.
Right.
So we put more like even just the mixer sits differently and stuff like that. And so it's
the same with food. Like, if you go to a restaurant food, it's just because we're using different things and we have different equipment. Like, you make yourself fried chicken at home, it's not going to taste like my fried chicken. It's just, you might even be able to use the same ingredients, and it's just not gonna. It's that restaurant feel, baby. It's that love we put in everything. Can't recreate that shit.
Flat top, I grill.
All right, this one convinces me that Dan sends these in. Argir Shiri, that's what I'm going with. Based on your experience, which country is good to work as a bartender? Which I don't think any of you have tended out of the country. But so let's kind of flip this around. Do you feel there's a specific ethnic group that's a better bartender?
Well, to go with his original question, Andy, because I do know things. I think this country is probably the best one to be in the bartender, because when I was over in the UK, you could see there was no older bartenders or waitresses and stuff like that. It was all young kids, because they don't get tipped out, so the money's not there. So I don't think in a lot of the other parts of the country or the world, it's as feasible as a long-term career, whereas you can make a lot more money. You could, hopefully you still can, in the US, because you make a lot of tips. So
that's kind of,
and I'm sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure that affects service too. If you're not getting tipped, like, you're going to get a better bartender at a place where the bartender's income is based upon their service and they're motivated to be better. Where I know I haven't traveled well, but I went to a destination wedding in St. Croix, and we weren't allowed to tip, and it just wasn't customary. And St. Croix is still a territory, but even there, it was so hard chasing down the fucking bartender for a drink. They didn't care. Like, and I don't blame them. You know, like, they got to deal with drunk people all day and they don't get any of the benefit.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, how much extra patience do you have because you're trying to get that extra buck from someone? If I didn't have to be nice to give away, I don't think I'd be doing the same thing either. So,
yeah, I was just kind of thinking that is like, there's always talk of like, oh, we should raise the prices and make everyone hourly with, just like a regular employee and not tip. I feel like it would be harder to get good people because, well, first of all, you don't have to work as hard because everyone's getting paid the same. So I think you're gonna
lose a professional bartender. That's it. Like, I wouldn't work even if it was $15 an hour. Like, that's tax and all that. Like, the reason to do that job, and it's a punishing job, is because you're gonna walk out with hopefully a good stack of money that night, not in your paycheck every other week or whatever.
It would absolutely decimate this industry as we know it. And to do something like that so soon, because I know there was talks about getting rid of gratuities altogether. And it's always something that gets thrown around because that's how we solve the world's problems, right? We take something away that people love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, exactly to both of your points. You take there's few things in this world that people at the end of their 9 to 5s or at the end of whatever their jobs are, they can do that bring them joy. Like that weekend, going out on the weekend, that late night, just go out to have a quick drink and a bite. And we've all been missing the last 3 months. That's what people work so hard for, so they can do those things. And if you take away the enthusiasm and the motivation from your service industry, and raise, and then in turn, not only do that, so you take away the enthusiasm, you pay everybody less, but you got to pay everybody more an hour now to be able to compensate. So you got to raise your prices. So now that you're going out to a restaurant instead of getting a jovial bartender for a drink with a reasonable price. You're getting an overpriced drink with a bartender that has no experience and doesn't want to be there. It's like, that's like, imagine going to McDonald's for a drink at the end of your shift.
Yeah, I think you'd lose that like every day regular. There's like no reason to go that same, because half the reasons you go to that environment to see the person you want to see working, all that, like,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Friends, like, you're gonna take away that huge environment from it. So
all vibes, man, and it would absolutely just destroy this industry. If they ever did that, I'd just sell Speedwell. I would. Done.
He'd start his professional wiffle ball team.
Oh, baby. You already know, dude. I want to start a league. Talking to Tuyet over at Kogi, and we're going to make that happen.
You guys aren't going to make that happen.
No, not right now. We're too busy.
All right, guys.
You read through my bullshit. I hate you.
That's last call. So let's go around the table and plug whatever we want to plug for whatever's going on. Let's start with Dan today.
I'm getting a new puppy. So,
are you really? Snarls is getting a brother or sister?
Yep.
Nice.
She's getting a brother. End of the June. Archie the puppy dog's coming.
What flavor?
It's a mini bulldog.
Nice.
So a smallish mouse. Not much
You
smaller.
posted a picture the other day, right?
Alicia did, yeah.
Yeah, a little white one, right?
Yep. It's
So
really
cute,
white
dude.
and cream color, they call it. So
Well,
but
just
it looks like a gerbil right now. So I didn't put
just
it
bear in
yet.
mind Jess from the Jetty. Why am I blanking on her last name?
Oh,
She was a
Hamill?
BBC. Yeah. Had a mini bulldog who turned out just to be a bulldog.
no. So this is she actually got it from the same breeder I did.
Oh, did
these
you? Yeah.
are different, though. These ones are bred to be smaller. Like
Okay.
hers was like.
Don't get me wrong. Marty is one of my favorite dogs. I love that fucking dog.
I still haven't met Marty.
Oh, he's so awesome. He's like that bulldog that is 100% just a bull in a china shop. Just no
Yep.
matter where he's going, he's knocking shit over and just fucking adorable.
Oh, that's
I don't get you,
the
dog.
breeder that we use is awesome. Like her dogs are great. Like Snarls is just my BFF. So like we definitely thought about getting a dog from somewhere else. I'm like, oh, let's just go back to where we know. So, but yeah,
Smart.
Archie
Why mess?
will be here
All
by
right.
next podcast, maybe.
Nice. Jordo, over to you.
I'm going to keep it simple, given the climate. I know we're trying to keep it lighthearted, but I'm going to say Black Lives Matter.
Nice. I will do a little self-promotion. So, Bar Talk, next episode in 2 weeks, we'll have our first non-friend guest, I guess is the way we can say. You know, I mean, future friend.
Good way to do it.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Chef Rossi from WOMR will be on the show. Caterer, author, chef extraordinaire. So that'll be new. We're kind of reaching out to people since we're recording on Zoom. Might as well reach out to people that we wouldn't normally get, and so that should be a fun one. Hopefully, she doesn't get frightened away by our nonsense. Hopefully, Carl will be back. I kind of miss Carl.
Mondays are definitely better for him. Tuesdays, he opens Wednesday, so he makes all his pretzels on Tuesday for Wednesday.
Yeah.
So he, I think if we did, it's going to be Monday afternoon, you said?
Yeah, it'll be Monday afternoon. So.
I'll make sure I stay on him like I usually do, but
yeah,
I kinda
just
lost
explain
this
to him that
weekend.
the computer doesn't steal his soul or whatever, black magic.
He doesn't have a soul. He
believes.
doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Explain to him that the computer will not steal his Hawaiian shirts.
It's not like a miracle. You're not going to not see your reflection. Zoom will catch you. Don't worry.
We'll give him plenty of face makeup so he gets to see that reflection at least.
So thanks for everyone who's listening. You can email us at bartalkcast@gmail.com. You can find us on all the socials at bartalkcast. Keep your eyes open. Hopefully we'll have some swag coming. And, make sure you write in your questions for future episodes. And if you have complaints, Jordan loves those. Dan, we all love.
Please complain.
Some reason we like the complaints more than the fan mail. Write us fan mail too, because that's very flattering. But
But the complaints are so genuine, though. Like,
we're like masochists, so it's like, oh, tell us how much we suck. Like, review, share the podcast, spread the word, and stay safe, wash your hands, and I will agree with Jordan. Black lives do matter. So, awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Later. All right, I gotta go to work.
Hey, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebriart, except for Instagram, we're at Inebriart6. You can email us with your questions, complaints, and whatnot at inebriart@yahoo.com. And if you're looking for more podcasts, you can check out the other podcasts on our network, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror, and, of course, Bar Talk, Old Colony, and Inebriart Podcast, the original. So check those out and subscribe and comment so we can reach more people, and thanks for listening.